So the students have gone on study leave and they've got their A2 exams over the next week or two. So it's a bit quiet around the corridors, but I took myself off to the classroom here and thought, you know what, I've been preaching all year about how to structure a Buzz4 essay. So I thought, well, I better be able to practice what I preach. So I've actually had a crack at a paragraph here, and I'm pretty chuffed with my efforts, it must be said. Oh, Mark.
How are you doing, Joe?
How you doing? Good to see you. You all right?
Nice to see you. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
Well, it's a paragraph from an essay that I had a go at, and I just figured I've been telling the students all year how to do the panel approach, and here it is. Like, you know, it's there for everyone to see. So
it's a chunky paragraph. It's a meaty paragraph.
You're not going to get much chunkier than that, are you?
Well, let's have a look at it. I mean, the panel approach we've been talking about all year.
Yeah.
Let's just recap on it. Basically, the way to structure a good paragraph is that you make your point, and then you do some analysis. Bring in your example, but you can do some more analysis, hopefully, with that example.
You sort of weave them together, don't you?
Weave them together, and then link it to the question. So we're going to see if you managed to do that.
Well, we're not going to see. I mean, it is done. Don't doubt me here,
No,
man.
I would never doubt you, but we will have a look. So this was a question from our mock paper, was it?
Yes, it was a question that came up in the mock, and it was tough.
It was a tough one. It was a difficult one. A lot of students struggled with this. Do you agree that the increase in use of technology is the most important opportunity facing UK manufacturers?
Yeah.
What do you think of the key words in there?
Keywords, well, I've underlined the hooks, we call them, in the question. So basically, you need to stay in focus. You need to start really zooming in on these keywords. Obviously, it's an essay on technology. The question's asking you, is that the most important opportunity? So you have to compare it against other opportunities in your counter argument, and you're focusing on UK manufacturers. So it's a Section A essay, focused on the pre-release. UK manufacturers, you can use UK firms in the UK, or you could even look at foreign firms that are maybe based in the UK as well. So then.
Yeah, well, let's take us through the panel approach. I like the way you started this, actually. It can be argued that technology can be a hugely significant opportunity. So you've directly focused on the question.
It's like I'm name dropping the hooks, basically.
Yeah, hugely significant opportunity for manufacturers based in the UK because, and here's our point, cost savings can occur in both the production and entire supply chain process.
So that there is
That's the point.
That's my point. I'm trying to say that if businesses use technology or increase their use of technology, then that's going to result in cost savings in their production process and supply chain, which is getting the product from being made to getting it into the hands of the consumer.
Yeah, and the great thing for analysis, to take that further now, you can say, what's the effect of that and what's the cause of that? You know, analysis is always the same. It's the cause and effect.
It's a logical chain of argument, isn't it?
Logical chain, bringing some theory in. So after you've made that point there, increasing use of automation has allowed capital-intensive operations in firms such as Coca-Cola Enterprises to become more productive.
Yeah. So if we look here at this is now a further explanation of my original point. This is a bit of analysis. One thing I say to my students is up-level your language. Use key business terminology, separating you from the man on the street that's maybe not studied business. So I've used the words automation, I've also used the words capital intensive, and I've also used the words productive as well.
I can see why you're proud of this, Joe.
Oh, this is grade A stuff, this is. And also, I've now introduced my example. So my example, if we think back to our panel approach, I'm now in this process here. My analysis and my example are being weaved together.
So it's allowed them to become more productive. So Coca-Cola Enterprises' recent £30 million investment in an automated stock retrieval system has enabled CCE to lower their labour cost per unit even further and respond to sudden increases in demand from their customers, who are major supermarkets. So nice context there.
So once again, I'm now bringing in my theory about their lowering their labour cost per unit, which is a real KPI for manufacturers. Try and keep their labour costs down, which can also lower their unit cost as well.
Okay, so even further analysis, this is due to less staff being needed in the bottling process and the stock handling procedure.
Yeah, and also note the fact here that my analysis is very unique to the example. So it's not generic analysis. I'm actually dropping in phrases that are very much linked to CCE, such as bottling process, stock handling procedure. So we know I'm talking about a drinks company, not a car manufacturer. So.
Okay. And then lowering unit cost enables CCE to secure long-term contracts on a wide range of soft drinks with major retailers such as Asda, where low selling price is a major source of competitiveness.
Wow.
So really nice analysis. I really like the fact that you've developed the analysis. You haven't told a story, which lots of students do. They'll tell you all these stories about Coca-Cola. It's based in Wakefield. It employs 400 staff and so on. You know, we don't need that. He's used the part of the example that relates to the question. I think you've done a fantastic job, Joe, but what's this? Where's the link?
Well, the link's there. I mean, Mark.
Well,
look,
well.
Mark,
I'll tell you.
the link's there. I'm linking back to the question. I talked about opportunity up here and opportunities here. So yeah, I'm linking it.
The issue I've got with this, it reminds me of an essay last year on China, and is China still an opportunity? The question, if you look at the trigger word here in the question, is it an opportunity? Now, what Joe's done here, fantastic stuff, but he's told me what Coca-Cola have done in the past. Basically, Coca-Cola have used this technology in the past. We must link this to the question. How does that give Coca-Cola an opportunity?
So what you're saying is that when you think about an opportunity, you've actually got to think about what's going to happen going forward. So they did this, but why is this going to enable them to sort of perform well in the future? And why will it be a continuing opportunity? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's exactly right. And the thing is, lots of students last year in the real exam, they wrote this much, and they were grade A-star students, but they would get something like a C. They got reasonable analysis, reasonable application, because it wasn't explicitly focused on the question. So just to polish this off.
And I'm a grade A-star teacher, and I'm clearly making what appears to be the same error. So
it's a simple thing to put right. It's just literally a sentence to link it back into the question.
Okay.
So if we were to say here that this demonstrates, that highly profitable firms, so that's firms with a lot of money to invest.
Yeah, absolutely. Because remember, this was a £30 million investment. CCE is profitable, so it allows them to do that investment. So it's not meant, you couldn't just say any firm.
So highly profitable firms like CCE can continue to invest in new technological opportunities.
Yeah, we'll just rub this out, shall we? Just as
Yeah. Can continue to invest in new technological opportunities. They can exploit new technological opportunities to lower their costs and boost competitiveness. So we could say to boost, one of my favourite words, Joe, competitiveness.
You're a big fan of that word. I'm a big fan of economies of scale, actually. You could probably have brought in your economies of scale argument further up there if you wanted to say like a business model or business theory to introduce.
Yeah.
But I can see what you've done here. So it's like you've just summed up the argument in one sentence at the end. Once again, linking back to the word opportunity, linking back to the word technology. And it's this, I think the key word here, and I'm going to put it in red just to really emphasize it, is this actually.
Yeah.
Highly profitable firms can continue to invest in technological opportunities in order to boost their competitiveness. And yeah, and I think that sets you up well. It's a good, solid paragraph then.
The thing you've got to remember about opportunities and threats, that they're about things that might happen in the future. And so you have to always link it to that. If you talk about what a business did in the past, you're not necessarily discussing that. You know, with Coca-Cola, a threat you might talk about is a potential sugar tax that might hit the UK, which is happening in France at the moment.
Yep.
But we have to link it into the fact that it's something that might happen in the future.
I know on this essay, the counter-argument is what are the other opportunities that UK manufacturers can avail of? And one student talked about the fact that the UK is part of the EU. But then I wrote on the margin, well, they joined the EU in 1973. So that was really in the past. But if they had actually said, continued membership of the EU will continue to be an opportunity provided more member states join the actual trading bloc, because you've then got a greater market of free trade which can occur. So that also will become an opportunity as well in the future.
Definitely. So just think about linking it back into the question at the end of each paragraph. You were almost there, Joe, so fantastic stuff going on.
Well, you know, I'm open to criticism, or is it constructive feedback? Constructive
No,
feedback.
that's great. So I think we're there now. So you enjoy your the rest of that Cobra.
Yeah, and I might write another paragraph.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, do a couple more. There's lots of space on here.
And then you can come back in and check them for me.
I'll come back and check them.
Fantastic.
These days off are great, aren't they?
Oh, really good, aren't they?
Students are all studying and we're just playing around with paragraphs. That's
Fantastic. Thank you
right,
very much.
I'll see you later.
See you. Right.